Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the mop here on Hump Day on Wednesday, October 15th. Yes, welcome to the mop, titled, What Options Do You Have? Well, quite honestly, we live in the United States, so we have a lot of options. You have a lot of options no matter how your day goes. You can have options to get up. You can have options to stay in bed. You can have options to go to work. Do you do your best at work? Do you not do your best at work? Do you opt to eat, not eat, breakfast, energy drinks, whatever it may be? Go to the gym? We have all kinds of options. It seems that a few of the options that people have struggled with lately is you have an option to be respectful, to be honest, and to be heartwarming, and take care of others. I personally struggle every day with some of the options we have. Sometimes the option is to keep your mouth shut and move forward. I struggle. I struggle to not honestly tell some people how I feel because, quite honestly, that option is probably not a good one. So I have to weigh my options every day. And your options probably need to be weighed every day. If you are in business meetings and you have many options, sometimes I chose the option that wasn't correct back in those days when I had business meetings and things like that with bosses and everywhere else. I chose sometimes not the best option. You have options to whether you go to work for the company you work for or bitch about the company you work for and stay there. Again, sometimes probably not the best option. If you're going to bitch about the place you're at and complain about how miserable you are, you probably should look at different options. Open your horizon a little further. Value who you are. Value what you bring to the table. If that is not valid and not valued by your employer, probably should check the options around you. And if you're often looking for different options, you might want to weigh out what those options have pros and cons. You know, I was talking to a gentleman yesterday, and I value him a lot. He's a very good businessman. I went and actually looked for a lamp base, and he happened to have a piece of lumber that I needed. But I was talking to him, and his daughter-in-law is one of the sweetest girls I know. And yet, she chose to walk away from teaching public schools because of what children were choosing as options of behavior, and then what the school was doing to channel those behaviors. See, back when I was in high school, and this is the discussion we had, was we had options when we were younger. We had young options when we were in our young years. And then our parents, mostly my mom, my dad was an over-the-road truck driver. He drove heavy equipment for 40 years. So he wasn't always home. So mom chose the role. There was not a wait till you see your dad get home. There was an option. Either you follow her rules, or she chose an option to correct those behaviors, so you followed her rules. And it was not abusive. This was not where you got yourself beat and battered. And no, this was the wooden spoon. I mentioned this the other day on one of the sites, and a lady said, "Oh, I'm sorry you got the wooden spoon and you dealt with all the abuse." It was not abuse. It was a corrective measure. See, I think we're lacking this option. I'm not saying to beat the hell out of your kids, but I do believe we are missing the option of corrective behavior. We are missing that option and do it correctly. You didn't talk back to your parents. You didn't talk back to the general public, because also there was an option of friends of the family that had the right to correct the kids as well. If you were noticed to be misbehaving out in public, another family could easily correct your behavior, and then they would tell your parents, and then it would be corrected that way. And then the next time that parent was allowed to correct more options. So you just were always being corrected. And then holding doors. Mr. and Mrs. See, I think this is where the school, to me, is not following along, and maybe it's because I'm that age. There's still teachers to me that are Mr. and Mrs. and always will be, because of the respect that my mom said I will give them. So I remember when I first heard my kids talking about this teacher or that teacher with either just a letter or, last name only, no Mr. or Mrs. with it. I mean, what the hell is going on here? And why is it being able to be talked about this way? I'll tell you an example. Mr. Lake. Yes, his name is Robert Lake. And I could call him Bob if I wanted to, but I can't. Mr. Lake is Mr. Lake. He was our ag teacher. And he deserves that respect. Not only because of what he didn't have an option for when he went to Vietnam, but also because he demanded that respect in his classroom. But it wasn't that he walked over and said, you absolutely will do this. It was that he earned it also. But also the parent, my mom, raised me with the aspect of every teacher will be called Mr. or Mrs. And that's what you're going to do, whether you like it or not. You're going to address people this way. Elderly, vets, whatever it was. Females, you hold the door open for. Senior citizens, you hold the door for. If you're dating someone, you walk curbside. So in case a car goes out of control, you get killed and she doesn't. That's how it works. And that's what it was supposed to be like. But we are seeing that less and less. And we are seeing more options, such as disrespecting law enforcement, disrespecting citizens of the same town and county because of their beliefs. Well, you believe this, so F you. I'm not going to talk to you, nor do I want to. See, this is where we start to develop the culture of who the hell cares what you think or what you believe in. We're not going to talk about it because I can disrespect you and not care. When we get to that point, we start to separate. And if you don't see the separation in this country right now, you are still living under a rock or out in a cave or off grid where you don't have cell phone, internet, news, radio, nothing. You're in a stone cold silence. If that's where you are and you're like, oh, everybody's getting along, this is wonderful. See, we have options. What options are you going to choose? The next time somebody says something about, well, the right is absolutely going bonkers, and is your option to tell that person to F off? Are you going to choose the option to sit down and say, hey, I'm curious, why do you feel that way? Let's have a talk. Nose to nose, eye to eye, however you want to put it, but we're not going to yell and scream. We're just going to discuss it out. Or do you go to board meetings and everywhere else and you're part of the problem by spreading it all over the internet saying, I don't agree with this, blah, 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 blah. And you're spreading it to light fires. See, gaslighting to me I hate the term. I hate the term gaslighting. I believe that we are strictly throwing things out there that we know will distract. It's more of distraction than, to me, gaslighting. Gaslighting, to me, it could be labeled anything, but to me, we're just trying to distract from the real truth. Like I talked yesterday, we still have somebody that was voted into office that was not confirmed or anything yet because Mr. Johnson doesn't want to, because of all of his excuses. See, he has an option, and he shouldn't right now have that option. As Speaker of the House, he should have to do what is right and get her to work, because that's what was voted on. That was the option of the people where she lives. They had the option to vote for her or someone else. They voted for her. So put her into office. We have an option to sit down and listen to all the BS we're hearing and go, I believe that. I don't believe that. Do I agree with this? Do I not agree with that? Do I call people frickin' stupid? Do I not call them stupid for what they believe in? Because what happens when you choose the option to call people names and call them uneducated, dumb, whatever you want to call them? It's really proving the opposite. It's really proving. See, have you ever noticed when somebody is asked to explain why they're, and it happens a lot with interviews at rallies on both sides. Well, explain to me why you feel that way. It's never more than a 2-second answer. It's never more than maybe a 5-word response. It's because nobody wants to explain it, because the option to them is if I say this, they're not going to ask anything. They just know that I don't approve of it. But if you ask them why, they can't. They don't have the other option. They don't have their other option loaded. See, I have a sign on my desk that every successful person has a plan B. Yes, you should always have a plan, but then you also should have a well-written plan B. So that is where you have an option. What is your option today? What are you going to do as you choose those options? And as you heard, we have plenty of options every day. We make choices and we do things every day that are based on the next option. So if you choose this option, it's going to take you down this path. And then you're going to come to a turn and you're going to have another option. Do you continue, or do you dig your heels in and say, I am done choosing options today. I am just going to tell everybody to go to hell? Guess what? That's another option. If you do not want options because it hurts, painful, brain, whatever it may be, and trust me, I get some of that. I understand that a lot. My brain gets tired very easily because of the damage that was done from a stroke. And people have the option, and a lot of them express, you had a stroke, get over it. See, that's not an option for me. The damage is there. So some of it gets wired in there that I don't have an option. I just choose different options, and I have to. Sometimes doing stuff, this hand hurts like hell, and guess what? I don't have an option to ignore it. Feels frozen all the time. But I do have other options. I have other options to be outright, to be a good, solid person, to do the best for somebody, to try to make sure people are getting the best of me. And that is the option I have to take. And sometimes I have to take the option first of sitting down calculate it through, and then choose the best option. Get a list of options. Do I answer this way or that way? Do I not answer? So take a look and evaluate your options every day. If you're a business owner, you have a whole lot of options. If you're a manager of a business, there is a ton of options. Sometimes I think you just need to write down how many things you made decisions on in a day that could affect the outcome of your business that either you own or you manage. And sometimes if you choose the option that I'm just going to yell at everybody because this business, I've nothing seen but big mistakes and everything made all week. And you have an option to handle the cancers that are in that business causing those problems too. Now, Gary Vee, I think, says it best, is you need to hire fast, but fire faster. Those are options that you have to look at, especially when it comes to success. I have been told before that successful people come from the right. I would have to disagree. I've seen successful people from both sides. I can be successful and still not believe in what is being said right now and being done by the cabinet that's in place right now. I have the option to say, I don't believe it's the best for us. And I choose that option. I still don't think they're the best for us. Because they can't relate. And they don't relate to us. You know, I was talking to this gentleman, like I said yesterday, and him and I were talking. He's got workers that are Venezuelan, that are Mexican. You know, one thing that you notice with those people is they're very respectful. They are family-based. They send their money back to their family. And they are very family-orientated. So some people don't like because of the color of their skin. You can't tell me what we're doing right now in this country is based on anything other than that. We're not taking violent people off the street. And then you're seeing more and more clips, and people don't want to admit that it's wrong. They're choosing an option to just allow it to happen. And then I choose an option that I'm not going to listen to it of those people that are going, woohoo, this is great. These people are scared. They came here for a reason. They're not all trying to be illegal. They're just trying to make a life better for them. And trust me, they're not stealing jobs. That's the discussion him and I had yesterday as well. Is if he relied on the people that they say are supposed to have those jobs, he'd be out of business. So next time you think about what you're going to say or what you're going to do, choose your best option. And then if it fails, make sure you stand up and say, yep, that option wasn't the right one. I'm going to try a different one. So that's where I'm at today on the mop. Make sure you're open-minded. Make sure you're looking at the best option because you have a lot of them every day. So have a great day. I'll go over the second annual Marcy Strikeout Alzheimer's tournament coming up November 8th. I'll go over some other things that came in yesterday. If you're part of that group, take a look and see what came in yesterday. I posted all that stuff. Vortex, thank you very much. Track bowling, thank you very much. That came from Brunswick. I appreciate Brunswick Track sending a new bowling ball to me. It just came out of the blue. Derek, thank you. You know who you are. Thank you very much. Truly appreciate it. I have tagged everybody that I can in the items I have received. It is going to be a hell of a big day, but I'll go through that tomorrow. But choose the right option and just know that everything you do, you have an option to make life better for someone. Take time to bless somebody and have a great day.